Now to the first of the three governors stopping by our Manchester set here today, the man at the center of the Marco Rubio episode, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, and welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Your takedown of Marco Rubio, and that's all I can call it, was the story of the night. Here is one more clip.
From protecting the people of Florida from eminent domain abuse, to bringing accountability to the VA, to the Girls Count Act, to sanctioning terrorist groups, I'm proud of my service in the United States Senate.
The fact is, when you talk about Hezbollah Sanctions Act that you list as one of your accomplishments and just did, you weren't even there to vote for it. That's not leadership, that's truancy.
So, Governor, what do you think last night's debate revealed about Marco Rubio?
Well, first off, I think it revealed something about what you need to be president of the United States. You got to be tested, you got to be prepared, you got to be experienced, you got to be ready. And quite frankly, that's what I tried to show the folks last night, that I am tested and prepared and ready. And what I've been saying all week, Senator Rubio was on full display last night. He's just simply not ready, Chris. He's a good guy, but he is not ready to be president of the United States.
You showed, and you have been a longtime prosecutor, you showed how skilled you are at that. As Rubio seemed almost to unravel like a witness under cross-examination personally on that stage, how'd you feel?
I felt justified, because I've been saying this for a long time, and I don't think that people have been really listening. But the fact is, there were a lot of people watching and listening last night. And it's not about Marco Rubio, it's about our country. It's about the American people. We've had a president for 7 years who was a first-term United States senator who had never managed anything in his entire life, and our government is unraveling. We have the Russians in Ukraine and Crimea. We have Syria falling apart, Libya falling apart. We have our economy growing at 0.7%, and middle-class wages going backwards. We don't need another on-the-job training in the White House. We need someone who's actually done this stuff, and I've done it. So what I felt last night when I was doing that was, I'm glad the American people are getting to see this before they make a mistake.
But according to the Real Clear Politics average of the recent polls here in New Hampshire, you are running 6th at this point with less than 5% support. There are some political observers who watched last night and said, you know, you really hurt Rubio, but did you help yourself in a position that you're in now, which is not too good?
Well, listen, none of those polls were taken after last night, were they? And what people saw last night, millions of people saw last night, was that I'm ready to be president of the United States. And more importantly,
how do you show that? Because, I mean, I know you showed the flaws in Rubio, but how do you show your leadership just because you took him down?
No, well, remember something, Chris. He tried to come back at me. And I answered him every time because I've been tested. And by the way, who do you want on that stage against Hillary Clinton? You want to see, do Republicans want to see someone who can absolutely answer Secretary Clinton's every parry in a debate in September so that we actually win the presidency? Or do we want to see someone who will crumble in front of Hillary Clinton? That's extraordinarily important. And by the way, this is about the American people, Chris. We need an experienced president. We need a successful presidency. The American people desperately need it. And I have been tested, whether it was rebuilding my state after Hurricane Sandy or standing up to a Democratic legislature or the teachers union. I am tough enough to take on Hillary Clinton, but more importantly, tough enough to take on the problems that face the United States.
Rubio tried to get into your record, and not terribly successfully, but let me try a little more successfully. I mean, you have had Bridgegate, which involves some of your top aides. You have had 9 credit downgrades in New Jersey on your watch. New Jersey has the 8th slowest job growth since the recession ended in 2009. Those are not badges of honor.
Yeah, except you're using dated material, Chris. This year, 2015, New Jersey had its greatest job growth in 15 years. In 15 years. That spans 5 different governors. This year, we created over 60,000 new private sector jobs in New Jersey. And by the way, we've cut spending.
What about the downgrades and the fact that since the recovery, and this is January information, you're still the 8th slowest state in job recovery?
Chris, we were the slowest state when I became governor. The slowest state. And I'm working with a Democratic legislature that won't do everything I want to do, but with the stuff I have forced them to do, we have now moved up the chart. And I'm not going to let anybody insult the people of New Jersey who have worked hard to bring our state back. By the way, in the midst of all that, too, we were hit with the 2nd worst natural disaster in American history that devastated our state. And in light of that, to have this comeback that we've had in 2015 is extraordinary. And the people of New Jersey deserve great credit, and I'm honored to lead them. And I'm not going to let Marco Rubio or anybody else, even you, my friend, insult the people that I represent every day.
I'm not insulting the people. I'm just I'm citing your record.
It's their state. It's not just my state. It's their state. Like it's our country. And I'm not going to allow people to insult the effort of the people in New Jersey. They've done a great job. I've helped as long as much as I can.
Just bringing up your record. Let me ask you about governors, because you say you have to be the top governor coming out of New Hampshire.
I'd like to be.
Okay, well, there are three of you, and we're going to talk to all of you one after the other. Your super PAC attacks John Kasich for the fact that between Congress and being governor of Ohio, he spent 8 years on Wall Street. But, Governor, your wife works on Wall Street. In fact, she's the primary breadwinner in the Christie family. The major industry donor to the Christie campaign and super PAC is the financial industry. So what's wrong with Wall Street?
First of all, my wife's not running for anything.
I know that,
but my wife's not running for anything. And what that points out is that Governor Kasich, what the super PAC says, is that Governor Kasich was there when Lehman Brothers went down. He was a managing director when it went down, and he voted in Congress for bailouts of the banks and for special interest loopholes. It's not about how much money he made. It's about how much money, when he was in Congress, he let others make. And that's what the point of the commercial is, not anything else. And by the way, as I said last night, John's a good governor. I'm just better.
What about the argument, and this is our last question, that you've got four of you, the three governors and Rubio in the so-called establishment lane, you're all bouncing against each other, and that ultimately, whatever divides you, you would all like to see one of you win versus Trump or Cruz. At some point, and how quickly do all of you need to coalesce around one of them? I know you hope it would be you, but coalesce around one of you to take them on.
Well, listen, all week the media was trying to make it that we coalesce around Marco Rubio. After you saw that performance last night, you think people should be coalescing around Marco Rubio? Do you think that's the kind of performance, that's the kind of leadership that we want to see on the stage against Hillary Clinton? Bottom line, Chris, is this is about the American people and changing their lives. And you know what? We need a strong, tough president. Hillary Clinton is one of the toughest political fighters in this country, and she's going to fight like crazy to get public housing back. So this needs to go on
for a while, this bumper cars?
You bet it needs to go on for a while until the voters actually decide. You know, you laugh. 180,000 people have voted in Iowa, and you want to end the race.
I don't want to.
No, this is what you're saying.
I asked the question.
You're saying, no, but Chris, the question implies a position. Well, shouldn't you all coalesce with you bumping up against each other? Listen,
I think you infer a position, but we're going to have to leave it.
Well, listen, infer, imply. At least we're both using the words right. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's no reason to coalesce after 180,000 people in Iowa have voted in a caucus. Let's let some people vote. Let's voters. And by the way, last night, what they saw is instructive. It's instructive and needs to be seen, and my strong leadership needs to be seen, and Senator Rubio's robotic performance needs to be seen too.
Governor Christie, thank you.
Great to have you on, Chris.
Did you say great to have you?
Yeah, I've pretty much taken over the show.
I was going to say.
Yeah, it's over, buddy.
Really?
Let's switch chairs. I'll take the rest of the day. Let me interview Bush. I'd love to.
I'm sure you would. Governor, thank you. Thanks for coming by. Boy, wow. It was a good night, not that good. Up next, two more